The universe was vast, cold, and seemingly indifferent. In every corner of the cosmos, life clawed its way into existence, clinging to fragile worlds, trying to survive against the darkness. For eons, species had risen, developed, and sometimes if they were lucky expanded beyond their origin worlds. They knew caution, they knew to play it safe. The universe was too big, too dangerous for hubris. Then, humans arrived, and they didn't just arrive, they sprinted, building, exploring, and reshaping every planet, moon, and orbiting rock they could reach. They weren't satisfied with survival, they wanted to thrive, to dominate, and as they did, the galaxy watched with awe, curiosity, and a bit of dread. Chapter 1: A New Kind of Power. It started in the Fenris system, where the sentient Akari species had established a quiet civilization, free from the troubles of war and conquest. They were diplomats, traders, and thinkers, known for their neutrality and wisdom. When they detected the approaching human fleet, they were wary, but more than anything, they were curious. The Akari's supreme guide, Morales, agreed to a peaceful meeting. She'd studied the humans and knew of their insatiable curiosity, but she hadn't expected the sheer audacity that came with it. As the human captain entered, he wore a wide smile, introducing himself as Captain Elias Rhodes. "Supreme Guide Morales," he said with a warm nod, "thank you for agreeing to meet. We're here to establish a trade route, yes, but also to discuss something more ambitious." Morales raised her silver brow ridges, her voice cautious. "Ambitious in what way, Captain Rhodes?" He leaned forward, his blue eyes bright with something she couldn't place. "We're interested in mapping the Fenris Nebula, and if possible, establishing a research station there. With your approval, of course." The Fenris Nebula was a dangerous, unpredictable region, filled with electromagnetic storms and gravitational anomalies that had consumed countless ships over the years. To the Akari, it was a forbidden zone, a place of mystery and danger to be avoided. "You understand that many have tried and failed, Captain," Morales warned. Captain Rhodes laughed, undeterred. "That's what makes it interesting. We've got tech that can handle it. The only thing we're missing is your blessing." Morales' advisors exchanged uneasy glances, but the Supreme Guide was intrigued. She knew the other civilizations in the region of space well, and no species would have ever dared to venture into the nebula. But humans, it seemed, were different. They were willing to test limits in a way she found both reckless and fascinating. She nodded slowly. "Very well, Captain Rhodes, but know that if you enter the nebula, we cannot offer rescue or support." The captain grinned. "We wouldn't ask you to." Chapter 2: The Mapping of Fenris. With the Akari's blessing, the human fleet set off, launching a specialized research vessel, the Aegis Explorer, into the Fenris Nebula. Equipped with experimental shielding and navigational systems, the ship sliced through the nebula's storms, dodging gravitational surges and ionizing radiation that would have ripped through lesser vessels. A week into the mission, the crew's excitement was palpable. For the first time, they were charting regions no other species had dared to enter, uncovering data on the nebula's volatile star clusters and even discovering rare minerals that could revolutionize energy production across the galaxy. But the mission wasn't without peril. Just as they approached the heart of the nebula, a massive plasma storm erupted. Alarms blared as the ship's shields struggled to hold. Captain Rhodes, watching from the bridge, held his ground. "Hold course," he barked, his voice steady. "Let's push her to the limit." The crew exchanged glances, nerves high but filled with trust in their captain's unshakable determination. They had trained for this. They believed in their technology, and above all, they believed in humanity's spirit drive to conquer the unknown. When the storm passed, they were alive, and more than that, they had succeeded. They emerged with a full scan of the nebula's heart, a place no ship had ever reached, and in that heart, they found something unexpected, an ancient, dormant structure, buried deep in the dust and energy. Chapter 3: The Sleeping Giant. The structure appeared to be a massive, long-abandoned space station. Its architecture didn't match any known species in the galaxy, hinting at an ancient civilization that had long since vanished. As the crew sent out drones to investigate, they uncovered strange symbols and carvings. They were unlike anything in humanity's linguistic databases, but radiated an unmistakable energy signature. It was a power source, and whatever fuel it had survived eons, deep in the heart of the nebula. Captain Rhodes stared at the readings, a glint of excitement in his eye. "This is why we explore," he murmured. "We've just rewritten a piece of the galaxy's history." The discovery of the ancient station sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Species that had dismissed humanity as reckless fools began to watch them with a new respect, even fear. If humans were capable of unlocking ancient secrets and surviving where others couldn't, what else might they accomplish? Chapter 4: Reclaiming the Universe. The ancient station became the first human outpost in Fenris, sparking a new wave of exploration across the galaxy. Humanity's determination to understand, to adapt, and to grow wasn't just a trait, it was a force that 99% of the universe was about to reckon with. For humanity, the message was clear: nothing in the universe was off limits, and as they looked out into the endless stars, they saw not just a universe to explore, but one to understand, to shape, ultimately, to call their own. The discovery of the ancient station had captivated the galaxy, but the station held secrets beyond even humanity's expectations. As engineers and scientists worked to decipher its mysteries, they activated dormant system signals, long silenced, began to hum with life, sending encrypted messages out into the nebula. The station, it seemed, was not as lifeless as they had believed. Captain Rhodes was back on Earth receiving honors when the urgent call from Aegis Explorer came through. His second-in-command, Commander Alara Chen, was terse. "Captain, we need you back at Fenris Station immediately," she said, her face lined with worry. "We've translated part of the station's inscriptions. It's not a station at all, it's a signal relay." "A relay for what?" Rhodes asked, his mind racing. "We don't know for sure," Chen replied, "but the translation implies a warning and times of darkness. The giants shall rise. We think this relay may have just sent a signal far beyond the nebula." Chapter 6: Echoes from the Dark. The news spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, species from all corners of the known universe were receiving traces of the mysterious signal. Fenris Station's call had awakened something. And then, in the following weeks, strange disturbances began cropping up. Along the galaxy's outer regions, flickers of energy in systems thought to be uninhabited, strange sightings of ancient ships on distant scopes. Rumors spread that ancient giants, powerful beings from a forgotten era, were stirring. In response, a coalition of spacefaring species assembled, demanding answers. The Kuri, known for their neutrality, reluctantly hosted the emergency council on their homeworld, with Captain Rhodes invited to speak on behalf of humanity. A Cortum warlord growled across the table, his dark, scaled face skeptical. "This is all human arrogance. You uncover something you don't understand and unleash who knows what on us all." Rhodes held his ground, his tone steady. "The universe wasn't ours to begin with, but that doesn't mean we're going to sit back and let threats rise unchecked. We'll face whatever this is, as we always have head on." Morales, the Kuri Supreme Guide, raised a hand to quiet the room. There is truth to the captain's words. The relay was buried deep in Fenris for a reason. Perhaps the universe has forgotten these giants, but if they're waking now, we all need to be prepared. Chapter 7: Humanity's Last Line. Returning to Fenris Station, Rhodes and his team prepared for what felt like an inevitable confrontation. Data from their scans suggested the source of the station's relay signal was located in a remote star cluster known as Sulcor's Reach, a place legendary for its impenetrable energy fields and long-held tales of monstrous, godlike entities. With the Aegis Explorer rearmed and upgraded, humanity's flagship was ready to lead the fleet into the unknown. Every available military and scientific resource was on board. The rest of the galaxy had placed their hopes on humanity's boldness, an act many viewed as courageous, while others saw it as reckless. As they approached Sulcor's Reach, the crew observed strange gravitational waves and energy pulses emanating from the core of the cluster. Suddenly, their sensors lit up with hundreds of signals. Out of the energy clouds came gargantuan ships, each as ancient as Fenris Station, and each larger than anything humanity had ever encountered. The giants had awoken. Chapter 8: Battle for Fenris. The giants were unlike any foe they had prepared for. Massive constructs, capable of bending gravity itself. They moved with a slow, unyielding power. Their first encounter was a harsh test of humanity's resilience. Captain Rhodes directed his fleet to form a perimeter around the Aegis Explorer, their shields flaring as energy bolts struck from the ancient ships. The giants, as old as the stars themselves, attacked in waves, their weapons somehow both rudimentary and overwhelmingly powerful, harnessing dark energy humanity barely understood. Yet, against all odds, humans had one distinct advantage: adaptability. As the battle wore on, Rhodes and his engineers began learning the giants' attack patterns, using the very energy fluctuations of Zolkor's reach to mask their ship's movements and attack from blind spots. In the midst of the fight, Alarachen found a potential weakness. Captain, the giant's structures seem tied to a central core. If we can disrupt it, we might be able to disable them all at once. Rhodes didn't hesitate. All right, Tim, our goal is clear. We go for the core. Chapter 9, The Final Stand. The humans made their daring run toward the central core of the giant's network. Under heavy fire and with their shields nearing collapse, the Aegis Explorer pushed through. Reaching the core, the massive structure pulsed with energy, its surface an eerie, shimmering green. As the final assault commenced, Rhodes coordinated with every ship in his fleet, directing a barrage of fire straight into the core's energy nodes. Explosions erupted, and one by one, the giant's massive ship stuttered, their lights flickering, and finally, falling silent. The once dominant, ancient beings were powerless. In the stillness after the battle, the galaxy's representatives looked at humanity not with disdain, but with reverence. Against overwhelming odds, humans had proven their worth not just as explorers, but as defenders, willing to face the unknown head-on. Chapter 10, A Legacy Carved in the Stars. With the giants defeated and the ancient station now fully deactivated, humanity returned to the galaxy with a newfound respect. The universe, vast and uncharted, lay open before them not as conquerors, but as guardians. The other civilizations, though wary, looked to humanity as the new stewards of the cosmos, and as humanity continued its journey across the stars, they left behind a legacy, a bold declaration etched into the fabric of the galaxy. When faced with the unknown, humans would not back down. 99.9% of the universe may be vast, dangerous, and mysterious, but for humanity, it was an invitation, a challenge. They would meet with open arms and unyielding courage. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were a premise, a promise that humanity, with all its audacity and hope, would answer. Months after humanity's decisive stand against the giants, whispers of their bravery spread across the galaxy. But as the universe knows well, silence does not always mean peace. Deep in the uncharted territories, new signals began to emerge. Faint echoes of the giants' energy signatures. The scientific community was divided. Some argued these were merely residual energy waves, echoes from the final battle, but others were convinced these signals were something more, a response. Captain Rhodes, now regarded as one of the most influential figures in interstellar history, was back on Earth preparing for a long-overdue rest, yet his sleep was cut short when a priority alert from Fenris Station arrived. Mysterious readings had spiked at the edge of the galaxy, in an area known only as the Rift Place, where dark matter and strange particles collided, creating phenomena no technology could penetrate. Alara Chen, now commander of Fenris Station, hailed him directly. "Captain, we're detecting remnants of the same energy that powered the giants, but this time, the signals are coming from multiple sources all at once. If there's more of them, we may be looking at an entire network." Chapter 12, A Rift in Reality. The Rift was a place shrouded in myth, and no ships from any known species had ever survived an attempt to explore it. But humanity wasn't about to leave a potential threat unchecked. Captain Rhodes and Chen gathered their fleet, now equipped with upgraded shields and advanced quantum sensors designed to withstand the unique physics of the Rift. As they entered the Rift, the fleet encountered violent gravitational fluctuations and bursts of dark energy. The space around them seemed to twist, bending reality itself, but they pressed on, navigating with a precision only human adaptability could provide. When they reached the source of the signals, what they found was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a massive, dormant construct, larger than any station humanity had ever encountered, sprawled across an entire star system. It was as if the giants, creators, had carved a technological mountain into the very fabric of space, a relic of a civilization whose power was unimaginable. Jen's voice crackled over the comms, her voice barely containing her awe. "Captain, if the giants were soldiers, this looks like their capital." Chapter 13, The First Contact. The fleet approached the construct cautiously, every ship on high alert. As they scanned the surface, a transmission crackled to life across all frequencies, a deep, resonant tone that sent chills through the entire crew. The voice that followed was unlike anything they had ever heard. "Come, ancient and vast. Who dares enter the dominion of the Founders?" Rhodes, with steady resolve, activated the comms. "This is Captain Elias Rhodes of the United Terran Fleet. We mean no harm, but we had to know who created the giants, and now that we're here, we'd like to talk." There was a long silence, then the voice responded, its tone oddly curious. "You are human, a species unknown to our records, and yet you defeated our sentinels." The voice paused, almost as if in contemplation. "Impressive." The construct's surface shimmered, revealing thousands of smaller structures embedded within. Massive doors opened, and Rhodes knew they were being invited in. Chapter 14, Inside the Dominion. The Aegis Explorer led a small contingent of ships into the heart of the construct. The crew marveled as they passed through vast halls, filled with symbols and technology that seemed almost alive, pulsing with an energy beyond anything they had encountered. Finally, they reached a central chamber where a holographic figure awaited them, towering and cloaked in an ethereal light. It appeared as an idealized form of the giant, a being both serene and powerful. "I am Arkle, last of the Founders," it said, its gaze settling on Rhodes and Chen. "We created the sentinels you call giants, and we placed them in strategic points across the cosmos to guard against the void." "The void?" Chen echoed, her curiosity piqued. Arkle's holographic form flickered, his expression darkening. "An entity beyond space and time, a darkness that consumes. We placed the sentinels to protect against its encroachment. Your arrival, however, has disrupted this balance." Rhodes took a steadying breath. "If the void is a threat to the galaxy, we can help. Humanity isn't afraid to stand against the unknown." Arkle tilted his head, considering. "Your spirit is commendable, but the void is unlike anything you have faced. If you are to help, you must undergo the trial of knowledge, a test of resilience, unity, and will." Chapter 15, The Trial of Knowledge. The Founders' Trial of Knowledge was held within an enormous virtual simulation crafted to test humanity's mental fortitude and adaptability. Each member of the crew was immersed in unique challenges, faced with dilemmas that tested their ethics, courage, and trust in one another. Rhodes and Chen found themselves in an ancient city, surrounded by images of species long extinct. Shadows crept along the walls, and every time they moved forward, the shadows grew thicker. The voice of Arkle echoed in their minds. "The void consumes, but it first divides. Only through unity can one withstand its influence." The crew, separated into teams, faced their fears, confronting illusions of isolation, betrayal, and doubt. But each time, they leaned on one another, finding strength in their unity and trust. And as they passed the final test, the shadows retreated, replaced by a brilliant light. When the trial ended, they were returned to the chamber where Arkle awaited them. "You have proven yourselves, humanity," he said, his voice imbued with a sense of reverence. "You are worthy allies in this fight." Chapter 16, Alliance of the Cosmos. The Founders bestowed upon humanity knowledge of ancient technologies and methods to harness dark energy safely. But even more valuable was the alliance itself. The Founders had decided to awaken what remained of their kind, and together, they would prepare for the coming storm. The Void's forces pressed on relentlessly, pushing the coalition to its limits. Strange, shadowy entities, manifestations of raw entropy, tore through space like phantom storms, dissolving matter and bending reality around them. Every battle was a test of endurance, with each species adapting to the Void's unpredictable tactics in ways that only their unique biology and technologies could allow. As Admiral Rhodes studied the battlefield from the bridge of the Aegis Explorer, he knew that this was more than just a military engagement. The void was unlike any enemy they'd ever faced. It seemed almost sentient, exploiting every weakness, every hesitation. Alara, any new intel from the Founders? Rhodes asked, watching as waves of dark energy pulsed toward the Coalition's front line. Commander Alara Chen shook her head, frustration and resolve etched in her face. The Founders' knowledge goes far, but even they underestimated the Void's strength. We're breaking through its forces, but barely. Then, a message came through a communication from Arkle, the Founder who had guided them this far. Admiral Rhodes, we have detected a source within the heart of the Void. If we can reach it, there is a chance to sever its connection to our galaxy, but it lies deep in the core, farther than anyone has ever dared venture. Rhodes didn't hesitate. We're in. What's the plan? Arkle's holographic figure appeared, solemn and resolute. A small, elite force must infiltrate the heart of the Void. Your weapons and technology will not be enough. You will need to draw upon the willpower and unity of every species. If you can breach the Void's core, there is a chance you could collapse it from within. Chapter 19, The Coalition's Finest. Admiral Rhodes gathered the Coalition's finest soldiers, scientists, and strategists for the mission. Representatives from each species volunteered, forming a diverse and formidable team. Together, they boarded the Orion Spear, a newly designed vessel infused with both human engineering and the Founder's ancient technology, built to withstand the Void's destructive energies. As they entered the Void's core, space itself seemed to twist and bend, as if reality were unraveling around them. They faced waves of dark entities, each more powerful and elusive than the last. The Coalition's ships formed a protective perimeter, buying time for the Orion Spear to penetrate deeper. Commander Chen directed their course through violent gravitational storms and energy fields that warped perception. We're almost there, she said, her voice filled with determination. Hold steady. Chapter 20, The Void's Heart. Finally, they reached the Coria pulsating sphere of darkness, vast and incomprehensible, radiating an energy that seemed to pull at the mind and soul. The crew felt its presence like a pressure on their thoughts, a weight threatening to drown them in despair. Arkle's voice came over the comms. This is the true essence of the Void. It feeds on entropy and chaos, drawn to anything that exists, seeking to return it to nothingness. Rhodes gripped the command console, steeling himself. If it feeds on division, we'll show it unity. He opened the comms to the entire Coalition fleet. Everyone, focus your minds. Stand together. This is what humanity does best. We endure, we resist, and we overcome. Together, the fleet's members reached out, connecting mentally through a neural link. Using the Founder's technology, the link allowed them to feel one another's thoughts, fears, and hopes. United in a single purpose, they channeled a force the Void couldn't comprehend: willpower, defiance, and a fierce, undying hope for a future. As their combined consciousness pushed against the Void, the darkness rippled, recoiling from the energy of their unity. The Void's core began to destabilize, cracks of light breaking through its inky surface. Chapter 21, Shattering the Void. With one last surge, the Coalition channeled their energy into a beam of pure willpower, a manifestation of life itself. The beam struck the Void's core, and the darkness screamed an unearthly sound that echoed through space, vibrating down to the very atoms around them. The core began to implode, its structure fracturing and collapsing under the weight of their collective unity. In its last moments, the Void fought back, sending waves of dark energy surging through the Orion Spear, but the Coalition held their ground, pushing harder, determined to see the mission through. Then, in a blinding flash, the Void's core shattered, darkness receded, its influence unraveling across the galaxy as its tendrils lost their grip. Stars that had dimmed began to shine again, and the strange gravitational anomalies that had plagued systems throughout the galaxy faded. Chapter 22, Dawn of a New Era. Back on Fenris Station, a silence fell as the Coalition fleet returned. Battered but victorious, Admiral Rhodes stood on the bridge of the Orion Spear, looking out at the stars that now seemed to shine brighter than ever. The galaxy had survived, and more than that, it had come together as one. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion and hostility were now bound by an unbreakable bond. Together, they had defeated an entity as old as the universe itself. A final message from our call echoed across the Coalition's channels. This victory was not ours alone. Humanity, with your courage, you have united the stars, and for that, the galaxy owes you a debt that can never be repaid. In the following months, the Coalition formed a new Counselor United Force, dedicated not only to defense but to exploration, knowledge, and peace. They called it the Galactic Accord, and humanity held a place of honor among its founders. Rhodes and Chen, weary but resolute, returned to Earth, heroes of a story that would be told for generations to come. They knew that threats would always lurk in the dark reaches of space, but now they faced those threats with allies and friends. As Rhodes looked out over Earth's skies, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity's journey was far from over. With the galaxy at their side, there were endless frontiers to explore, mysteries to uncover, and wonders to protect. The universe was no longer indifferent. It was alive, bound together by the will of countless species who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious.